Hey, this is Jesse from the Failsafe, and you are watching or listening to Heavy Mental Breakdown.
Hey everyone, welcome to Heavy Mental Breakdown, a podcast that breaks down song lyrics with the artist for a more in-depth look behind their meanings. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this podcast. I know you guys are super busy. You got a tour coming up. You got Rockfest coming up. You're working on some covers. If you want to just talk about that really quick.
Yeah. So long story short, we have been just head deep in different covers right now. In terms of, we have 6 full covers coming out, remade the Failsafe style, some a little softer, some a little heavier, some a step away from the original material, some lockstep with it. They're really fun. We're really excited about these. And then subsequently to that, we're actually doing a cover channel, which is just going to be under my name on TikTok, on Instagram. And we're just going to be dropping 45-second covers, probably 10 or so a month. We already have the first batch ready to go. We're going to start this channel at the beginning of May. Knock on wood, everything works out the way I want it to. But Cover City right now.
That's
and
amazing.
then, yeah, like you said, we're doing Rockfest, which is wild because they asked us to do Friday night, not 1, not 2, but 3 sets. And that was crazy to me.
So for each day, you're performing each day?
No, just all in one day. So basically, every time a main stage band isn't playing, we're going to be playing.
Okay.
And I asked him, hey, I know other bands that would kill to get on this. Do you want me to get you? They're like, no, we're good. We just want you. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
That's triple the amount of exposure that day.
Yeah, I wish it was triple the amount of pay, but what can you do?
Is there any band on that lineup that you're looking forward to sharing that stage with?
I guess Bad Omens is playing, which is huge. That's been a huge influence on us, since we've been a band, and we get to share the same festival as those guys. Five Finger Death Punch is going to be there as
Manson.
well. So, yeah, there's some big bands.
Yeah. Is this the biggest festival you guys have done so far?
Yes, I'd say so. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. I mean, that's getting on a huge bill like that is no easy, accomplishment. So, I mean, that's huge, man. Congratulations for you guys.
Yeah, we're really excited to play it. We submitted our stuff and they just hit us back. Yeah, you guys want 3 slots? We're like, sure, I guess.
That's amazing. And so, just for a little bit of a background on the band, how long have you been with the Failsafe for? How long have you guys been doing this?
Yeah, so we started in 2019. We talked a little bit offline about this, but we essentially started, we were a band previous to that, just kind of a local band in the Minneapolis area, and 3 of us, Kyle, Chad, and myself, we wanted to continue after the guitar player wanted to go a different direction, do something different. So we were saying, okay, guys, that was kind of more of a pop rock project, electronic-y. This is our chance to go, hey, let's pick our rock lane and stick in it. Because before it was, pop, rock, electronica. I was a singer. Then we had a female co-lead singer. There was a lot going on.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And the problem, it was cool, but the problem with it was we didn't have a lane. So people couldn't really grasp it as heavy because they couldn't identify fully with us. So we picked a lane. We're like, we're going to be rock. This is what we're doing. This is how we're presenting it. This is the type of show we're doing. And we just went from there. And, I was in that band for almost, 10 years. And
wow,
within 2 years, this band had more diehard fans than that band did in 10 years. It was crazy. And given we're better musicians now, but we had a direction, we had a focus, and it really kind of helped things. So we started playing regionally for 2019, and so I started getting off the ground, and then COVID happened. And a lot of bands, they never came back from COVID. A lot of bands really struggled with that. We kind of looked at that as, okay, hey, look, no one is drawing more than us right now because no one can play shows. So that's the ultimate equalizer. Let's just work our asses off now, and let's keep writing, keep recording, keep putting out content. Let's, grow our social media. Let's keep having things going on via Reels, via Facebook, via TikTok, whatever. And we started doing that, and then we started testing the waters again, doing some 4-day weekend warrior type shows and whatnot. And then we decided that let's just focus on touring. Let's stop the weekend stuff. Let's just tour a few times a year and make it mean something. So when we come to town, it counts.
Yeah.
And it means something special. And and ironically, since I moved from the Minneapolis area, every time we come back, our crowds have been bigger and bigger, which is awesome.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's a hometown. It's like your hometown.
Yeah, it's like a kind of a homecoming. Yeah, it's crazy because when I was like, God, I wish these people would come out with all these years I've been playing in this town. And now it's now they come out.
Now they're here. Well, better a little bit later than never, man. And that's great that you have that support
exactly
from the city where you're from. And I mean that's huge. And as tragic as 2020 was, I think 2020 was a huge time for a lot of creatives. I've met a lot of people, been interviewing a lot of people, and that's really when they got started, was 2020, because you're shut down, there's nothing you can do. So hey, I've been wanting to write music, hey, I've been wanting to make something, and that gave us all the time and the freedom to do that. And I think a lot of the best art came out of that year. Unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances, but I think those who really wanted to make something and do something, they were able to pull it off. And we saw a lot of that, and we're still seeing the effects of that today, which is really
cool. Yeah, and for us, in a way, it was kind of a really good thing that our personal careers that we have outside of music that we want to ditch once we are able to make enough money with the Failsafe. Everything went remote for us. So all my jobs since 2020 have been remote. Same with our guitar players, our drummer.
Still to this day.
Yeah, to this day.
Okay.
So we can do our jobs and tour at the same time. And so we just work in the car. We have our Zoom calls, we have our client meetings, we have all that fun stuff. And then, okay, 5 o'clock, let's go play the show.
Yeah. You guys are hustling, man. You're going from one city to the other, but you got your laptops out doing work. That's how you do it, though, man. I mean, there's a lot of people who, can make excuses. Oh, I can't because of that. I don't have the time to do this. But if you're passionate enough and you love what you do enough, you could totally make the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no excuses there.
One of our earlier tours, it was like we were out for 3 weeks going across the country, from the East Coast here up north all the way down to Texas, and we had some vehicle trouble. And I closed an $800,000 deal from the back of a broken RV.
That's amazing, man.
No one with any of the wise where I was.
Do you work in real estate by any chance? Is that what
I
you do?
don't. Well,
okay.
I'm in wireless technology.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, the fact that you can do that remotely, that's awesome. And then you can work backstage before you go on and do your set real quick, and then get back on your Zoom meeting.
Yeah. And we kind of have a system. Okay, this person's going to have their meetings. Everyone shut up. Then my meeting's next. So it works out.
Yeah, that's great, dude. That's so cool. So let's talk a little bit about this song that we're about to break down called Wolves. Is there anything that you want to talk about or say about it before we get deep into the lyrics?
Well, absolutely. So this is our most recent single. We released it back in October while we're on tour with Drowning Pool, which was a lot of fun having that big
Very
tour
cool.
plus have a big release. This had one of my favorite videos we've ever done. It was the most wild experience because I'm used to videos, if they're going to be high quality or even shitty quality, they take some time to get together. Someone's got to throw in a Premiere, After Effects, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
We went into this video shoot at noon, didn't know what we were wearing. He just said, yeah, just bring all your clothes. I'll pick something out. The dude, we did a little tour, and then we just went into St. Louis, and he just had a whole crew there ready to go. He picked our outfits. didn't even know what we were filming yet. He's like, I'm gonna try this, and we got this whole entire shoot done in 10 hours. And then as I'm at the airport ready to leave for home, I have a draft done already. Like, yeah, here's the video.
Oh, wow.
And it was near the final. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to go try and tweak this color a little bit here, but it's done. Like, this guy is a machine.
That's amazing.
And yeah, if you watch the video, I'm very, very bloody. Lots of blood. And I left the video shoot like that into an Uber and then went to the hotel like that. And the lady wasn't even phased at the hotel. She's like, oh, whatever.
What city was this in?
St. Louis.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I a couple years ago I made a vampire movie, and we had a bunch of female vampires drenched in blood and going home, and so every single one of them had a story to tell. They were covered in blood in the Uber, but it was out in LA. But no one said anything to them. They were just kind of like, oh, okay, someone's doing something here again. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Funny. Yeah, maybe they have actual vampires out there. They don't even care.
Yeah, they don't even care. So, are you? Do you want me to start the song? Are you ready to break it down, or is there anything else you want to? Hell yeah! All right, everyone. This is Wolves by the Failsafe, and we're about to break it down.
Stop me better if you're not here, if I'm being honest. The changing, a heartbeat that breaks the floodgates open. The demon that marks me knows how to pick a poison.
All right, I'm going to stop it there so we can break down that first verse here. So I'm going to read these lyrics. Caught up in the night glow, even when the bottle hides behind a promise. Nothing that'll stop me better if you're not here, if I'm honest. Oof. The change in a heartbeat that breaks the floodgates open. The demon that marks me knows how to pick a poison. That's a deep first verse, man. Do you wanna kind of just break down that verse there and kind of where your mindset was, to open up the song with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this whole song is essentially about this monster inside of us in general, particularly me in this particular case. And this is the making of the scene where you kind of start to revert back to that monster inside of you. And it's going to be dangerous. You're basically telling, hey, you don't want to be here. I'm going to go into a bad place. And you don't want to, you're trying to stop it, but it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Essentially what the general meaning of that first verse is.
Yeah, so you say night glow even when the bottle hides behind a promise. When you say bottle, is that alcohol?
No.
No.
So this will kind of dive in a little bit on what I've dealt with in the past. I had an addiction to Ambien. And I was on Ambien since I was in almost in like ninth grade, I think it was, where I was always having issues sleeping, and I'd go through trazodone. I got used to it. Went through Lunesta, I got used to that. Was on Ambien, and that worked. It was like the only thing that would kind of work, but also it was a very, very dangerous medication to take. It would cause me to do crazy things and not remember it. When I was single, I met people and went back to my place, and I woke up and I didn't remember any of it. And they said, you were perfectly coherent. This is crazy. I'm like, no, I'm sorry this happened. So it's kind of an allusion back to those days.
Yeah. And I can totally see, stop me better if you're not here, if I'm honest. You don't want to be here with me right now. Let me get through this by myself. Yeah. The change in a heartbeat that breaks the floodgates open. The demon that marks me knows how to pick a poison. So that bottle is the poison, and it turns you into somebody that you don't like and that you don't want to be anymore. And that's the demon inside.
And it's unfortunately it's something I needed just to sleep, just to get rest. And so that's kind of the I guess the kind of precursor to the chorus, obviously, kind of going out, just you try to go without it, and then something will just set you off. They'll just push you in that direction. They'll just bring that out of you, because it's a perfectly safe medication if you are perfectly safe with it.
Right.
But when I was living on my own in a weird place, and I took it to fall asleep, a text, a phone call, something would push me out of like being safe with it in bed. And next thing I know, I'm out driving, I'm out doing something crazy. Wow. Without even realizing I'm doing it.
Gotcha. So would you say that this, so I know that that's what this verse is about, but is this song about that journey with the addiction to that? Like, could this kind of be like a recovery almost kind of song, or?
I guess that essentially that's the premise of the verse. The general theme of it is, what I was trying to get across is there is a monster inside of us, and it only takes just a little bit for that thing to come out and raise hell. And that's what my monster was. I was essentially making this song about.
Okay.
But also I tried to leave it as open as I could so other people could identify with it.
Gotcha. And that's one of the great things about music, is that it could be very subjective, and people can listen to it and be like, oh, he's not talking about alcohol, but I hear bottle, and that could relate to anybody that has kind of any kind of addiction, that's in the form of a bottle. And so it could relate to lots of different people. And the demon inside, man, I mean, that's heavy, because a lot of us are going through that. A lot of us go through that, and music has always been my place. When I feel that demon coming out, I'll put on a song and rock out to it, and it makes me feel normal for a bit. So I love that first verse, dude. That's really great. Let's keep rocking out. So there's definitely a line in there that the first time I heard it, I got chills, but I'll tell you what it was when we get there. But I'm gonna read these lyrics out here for the chorus. All it took was a little push. And like you're saying, it could have just been a text message or something to kind of push you. Now I'm shot like a pistol. Rip the cord, time of death. 11th hour, seeing red. Don't go wasting a trigger. Pull too far gone for a bullet. Half a man, twice the mess. Running with the wolves again. The half a man, twice the mess is that's the line that got me, man. I feel that. So this course here, do you want to kind of explain a little bit of this?
Yeah, this is essentially the result of the verse. So
right.
This is where I'm essentially, I am that monster, and I'm running the streets. I'm, too far gone to reason with. And that's the dangerous monster that that I'm becoming, essentially, from just something pushing me, that little extra push in that wrong direction is bringing that out of me, essentially.
So this might be a silly question, but the wolves, what does that represent? What are the wolves?
Sure. Part of it is, I'm thinking of Wolfman, of course, kind of this monster inside of you. It's going to happen. You can't prevent it, and then something's going to push you over the edge and do it. Essentially, this is there are other people who are also hurting and have their own monster, and I've found myself confiding in them and doing a lot of the same stuff. And a lot of people I wake up to in the morning, and they would be in my house. The people that would know that I might be messed up. Hey, let's let me talk to him and see what's up with him. And being single and by myself, I kind of allowed it to happen. And
So
yeah,
the wolves can be like the bad, like a bad crowd, like a bad influence.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you say the Wolfman, and you know this music video, like you said, like you have blood. Are you a horror fan? Are you a big horror fan?
I am, yeah.
Do you pull a lot of inspiration from movies for in your music?
When I can, yes, especially with some more angry songs. I feel like I draw some inspiration.
That's
This one probably was, the coup de grace, the really kind of thematically made it versus anything else I've ever written in that using kind of that horror theme.
Wow, that's cool. I'm a huge horror fan myself, and I love the Wolfman. And I can totally see where some of your inspiration comes from by looking at the video and the lyrics. And I was just having this conversation with somebody I was interviewing yesterday. He had a Frankenstein mask, on his wall. He had a Creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula. And he was saying how he loves horror movies and he listens to soundtracks while he's writing, and it helps get him in that horror mood, that horror vibe. And I love the connection with rock and roll and horror movies. I love that. I think a lot of us have that same connection there, which is really cool. And I like that. What is Wolfman your favorite horror movie?
Maybe out of the old Universal ones, I think that was probably one of the better ones. I really like the old Bela Lugosi Dracula as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
Wolfman was cool. They haven't really done it as
No,
good
they
since.
have. No, they have not. No, they have not. Blumhouse, stop making these movies, please.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Let's keep rocking out to this.
Wake up in the sunrise, see a dirty bloodline, took another victim. If I could, I would surrender, but I can't remember how to spot the symptom. Something inside me is looking for a voice, and the demon that marks me knows how to pick a poison.
When you say the demon that marks me, that automatically makes me remember the scene in Wolfman where he's at the fortune teller, and you see the pentagram on he's been marked, and now he's the wolf. Dude, I love that. I love it. All right, let me read these lyrics real quick. Wake up in the sunrise, see a dirty bloodline, took another victim. If I could, I would surrender, but I can't remember how to spot the symptom. That's rough. Because something inside of me is looking for a voice, and that demon that marks me knows how to pick a poison. You want to discuss this verse?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this verse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about, I essentially black out thinking I'm, going to sleep and something would get me up or something would happen, and I'd black out and not really not know what I was doing. I'd met somebody or met people. It happened a couple of times, and like they'd be at my house like, you don't remember any of this. And so I kind of looked at that as like, waking up and seeing another victim, like crap, like I have to tell this person I don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah, that's actually kind of scary. That's like real life horror stuff, man.
Yeah. And so that was a couple tough conversations there in that case. And then just kind of going through that, I want to not have to take this, but there's no other way for me to fall asleep essentially that without just going without sleep, which I eventually did to get past it.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, I was in a very weird time in my life. I trying to find myself, trying to find my voice, and just had this extra layer of complication that was, needlessly added to it.
Yeah, is looking for a voice, and the demon that marks me knows how to pick a poison. So when you say the demon, are you referring to just the inner demon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that line right there. If I could, I would surrender, but I can't remember. That's rough, man. But it makes it's I think it's something that a lot of us kind of go through, and that's tough. That's tough, man. Hearing the story about this and reading these lyrics and seeing you and talking to you, have you been able to overcome these demons, or is this something that you're still kind of dealing with today?
Well, in 2019, basically, same time as the Failsafe started, I met my now wife, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was dating her. I was like, okay, I really, really like this person, and I need to just get off this medication because I don't want to risk anything happening. I don't want there to be any kind of wake up and, oh, I had an affair, I cheat on my girlfriend or anything like that.
Yeah.
I knew what I was capable of doing when I was on this medication, so I just quit cold turkey.
Good for you.
And it took about 4 to 6 weeks before I was able to get a good night's sleep. But it worked out for the best. And yeah, I was able to find myself and kind of overcome that. And yeah, I have a beautiful wife now she travels with the band, and
very cool.
She does all our merch and is really helpful behind the scenes. And so, yeah, a lot of my emotional turmoil has been rooted in kind of the year or two before I started the Failsafe. I draw a lot from that because I did go through a lot. So I'm always kind of digging back at that well for a lot of inspiration because it was an interesting time. It was a wild time, but I learned a lot from it, and I always go back to remind myself.
Yeah, and that's one of the important things that I've learned is, as hard as it is to think back at rough times, those times make us who we are today, and we never want to forget about them because that's who made us who we are. And so if we can use that, like whenever we start to think about it, instead of causing anxiety or relapsing or anything like that, we use that for inspiration for something creative and positive, like this song here. When was this song written?
This song was written in the summer of 23.
Okay, so a couple years after 2019, 2020 happened, and you were able to look back at that time. And when you were looking back on it, does it still kind of feel as heavy as it did back then? And that's how you're able to write this?
Yeah, that's something I always have the ability to do. Is I can put myself in the shoes of where I was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago and feel exactly what I was feeling then.
Wow.
And I've always used it for inspiration, different artistic endeavors.
Yeah, that's the best way to get it out. All right, let's keep listening to this. It's a heavy song. It really is a heavy song. When you wrote this and then you recorded it and then you put the track out to the world and put a visual behind it, how did that feel to you? Was there like a sense of relief? And now that you had this story and you're able to bring it out and put a visual with the band, and now you'll be playing this in front of huge crowds here this summer at your festivals. How does it feel putting these lyrics out and the song out and just knowing the backstory and what you went through to make it happen?
Yeah, well, like any song you put out, it's very cathartic to go through the writing process, recording process, all the prep for the release, and then you drop it.
Yeah.
This one particularly, it was almost like honestly, we had so much going on at the time. It was like a side, like, oh yeah, by the way, that song's out now. Oh, so it's kind of funny because like I was, I think 4 or 5 shows deep on the tour, still working during the day, and then oh yeah, this song's getting released today. So there was a lot going on. But yeah, in general, it's always cathartic to get your song together, get your lyrics. I visited similar themes in previous songs as well.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was just going to mention, just really quick, back on the lyrics piece too, there is a bit of a secondary meaning of this song as well, where the monster is not necessarily a demon, but it's the monster is who you really are. And you can't change who you really are. Particularly on the chorus, I started really feeling that meaning, especially while, I'm in the back of a truck, we're driving 8 hours going to these locations to play shows. It's like, this is who I am. These are the wolves I'm running with, essentially. And so it has multiple meanings, and I obviously started as one thing, and it still is that thing. But when I was thinking about it, I'm like, gosh, I just took off in a car, and once we got this tour, left her, took the wife, just jumped in the vehicle, flew out to meet the boys, and we're on the road. We're doing this. We're in a place we've never been before, and just on the road, like, this is who we are, and we can't fight it.
Yeah. It's kind of a place of acceptance, and this is who I am. This is, what my tendencies are, and this is the people who I'm surrounding myself with, and let's just go. Let's just do the thing.
Yeah. So not to dull the original meaning of it, but there's
no. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's always so much that can go into this, and I think for me, I would have listened to this the first time. This wasn't the first time, but when I listened to it the first time, I wouldn't have known that, and that you also see it that way, and that's one of the cool things about the podcast is we're here talking with you, and now we have a little bit more meaning about what the song is and make it a little bit more personal. So cool, Daniel. Thank you for sharing that last part. That's cool. So when it comes to writing more music and putting out, you said you're working on more stuff right now. Is it a goal of yours to be able to relate your experiences with your music, or do you think that you want to, because I remember you were saying that you kind of want to switch things up, switch the style of the band and some of the songs. Is this a theme that you kind of want to stick with talking about your past experiences, or was that kind of for this song specifically?
Sure. I don't see myself ever not writing about my life, or writing lyrics. It's just what you have to be emotional about your songs, and you can't really fake that, or if you try to fake it, you're not going to have a good time. Yeah. So I like to have something that will bring me to an emotional place, so I can convey that to the world and try to reach as many people with it as possible. So I don't think that's ever going to go away. Ultimately, my songwriting goals is I want to write songs that are going to connect with as many people as possible. And I'm learning through doing that, finding our own lane is going to be in our best interest to hit that goal, just because in the lane we're at right now, we're sharing that lane, like I said before, we're sharing it with so many other good, similar bands that are, lockstep with our sound, that we're not reaching the people we want to reach. So we're trying to get over and find that real estate, so to speak, where we can, the people can see our products, hear our house, hear our songs, come visit, and have a good time.
Honestly, it's just a matter of time. This song is a banger. I've been blasting it all day. I think it's a great song with a great message, and being able to hear that backstory, it just makes it even that much more special. And this song, it was a great song, and like I said, you guys are not far from, especially with the huge shows that you got coming up. And I really hope that just makes your fan base explode and people can get to this kind of stuff, because like you said, it's not easy to talk about, and it's not easy to feel these things either. So when you can connect with a band or song or lyrics, it's life-changing, really. Yeah.
Just a note too on mental health. We've hooked up with different groups who specialize in mental health or raising awareness of mental health, suicide prevention, things like that.
Oh, cool.
One of the biggest things that I've noticed that gets overlooked in the umbrella of mental health is insomnia. It is a mental health issue, and
Totally.
it's one that completely goes under the radar because you're not killing yourself, you're not having anger issues or things like that, but it can lead to stuff like that.
Right.
And especially if you're on something that's making you do crazy things, you're not realizing it. You might not realize what you're doing to yourself in those cases, and so it can be dangerous trying to treat insomnia, and it's one of the worst things, not being able to sleep, and it does affect every other aspect of your emotion or your mental or anything like that. You're more irritable, you don't concentrate as much, you kind of go through your life in kind of a brain fog, so to speak. So I think it's really important that people who have insomnia should treat it as a mental health issue and get help and try to overcome it the best they can.
Yeah, I actually agree with that 100% because I have dealt with insomnia for as long as I can remember. I mean, it was just last week. I didn't fall asleep at all. Like, I'm just like laying in bed and just like staring at the ceiling. I'm like, I don't like, do I try to sleep now? Do I get up? Do I like put a movie on and try to distract me? I have always dealt with insomnia, and one of the things that I have done, and it's not good, where I try to drink myself to sleep. I've tried to find different medications and different forms of, and it's not because I want to drink, and it's not because anything outside of just wanting to sleep.
Yeah.
Just to be rested. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and feel good. I don't want to be a zombie all day long. And then
exactly.
And then when the night comes again, and it's so weird for me. And it's probably I'm sure you've dealt with this too. But you're so tired throughout the day, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna keep myself awake, so at night I can pass out. But then when that night comes, you start overthinking the sleeping. It's like, okay, now it's time to sleep. Okay, go to sleep. And it just becomes this, you start spinning in circles again. And it's like, I've been so
100%.
tired all day. All day I've been exhausted, and I've been preventing myself to sleep so I can sleep now, and I can't even do that.
It's one of the most frustrating, heartbreaking things of being a human being is not being able to sleep.
Yeah. No, I get that. Luckily, I've not as bad as I used to be, but I'm still definitely there, and I agree 100% that should be something that's more outspoken in the world of mental health. So I get that. Have you been able to control your insomnia since you stepped away from you said it was Ambien?
Yeah. Part of it was just like, I guess, the bed and pillow, getting that unlocked, getting that straightened out, getting more of a routine down, a morning routine and a night routine as well, in terms of just something to help with drowsiness, which I'm going to also try to wean myself off of, is just taking a Benadryl. That helps. There was a time where I was like taking NyQuil every night even when I wasn't sick. I'm like, okay, this is make me feel hungover in the morning, so no, I'm not doing that. So just a Benadryl basically now, or a melatonin, and that's been getting it done for me basically.
Good. Good.
Yeah, the one thing is I cannot sleep in. That's the thing, and it's partially because I have two little Shiba Inus that know when it's time to go outside every morning. And they'll will not let me sleep in. So.
No, I have a cat, and about 5 o'clock in the morning, he's tapping my face. Wake up, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
The animal, we love them, but sometimes they just gotta let us sleep.
Yeah.
So now, after hearing your story, and anybody listening to this who would want to use music as a form of therapy or relief to be able to control some of their thoughts, what advice would you give somebody who wants to follow in the footsteps of writing music and getting that out to help them with their mental health?
My best advice would be to compartmentalize as much as possible. So if you're angry, if you're sad, you're depressed, do not let that spill over into other aspects of your life. leave that in the well for your inspiration to go to that place when you need to feel that emotion, whether it's, sadness, and you want to express it in a song. Leave it in the well for that. Your anger, you put that, on the bench, on the bar, put that in your head then. But try your best to compartmentalize those emotions and not let it spill over into your work, your relationships, your family, pets, anything like that.
Yeah.
And try to regulate your emotions as much as possible. Journaling, writing things down, really help kind of get those out on paper so you're expressing them in a healthy way. And then you can use that later for inspiration for song lyrics and things like that.
Yeah. So is that what you do whenever you're feeling a thought? You pull out like a notepad or like on your phone and you start writing down the thoughts you're feeling, and then when it comes to songwriting, you're like, okay, let me go back to these notes and remember where I was, and oh, these are the key notes, and I'm gonna make a song that kind of revolves around this.
Yeah, and I break them down in bullet points and things like that. I'm very very bullet pointy and regimented with my note taking, so
no, that's great. You're organized.
I tend to be organized even in my rants.
That's great. So I know we kind of already talked about it, but what's next for you in the band? Like what's in the immediate future? Like I know you're touring, you got some stuff coming up, but is there anything specifically that you want to plug right now and just talk about what's coming up? Yeah, just to recap again,
we're doing a release of our first original cover. It's kind of an oxymoron, but our first cover redone in the Failsafe style here at the end of June. Looking forward to releasing that. We're doing our cover channel, our secondary channel. We're launching it at the beginning of next month, as long as everything is completed, which the songs are completed, the videos are completed, just the supporting videos around those just have to get done. And then we're good to go. And I think we're about halfway through that. So got the rest of the month to get that done. And then, we're going to be in the Midwest for Rockfest on the 18th of July. We're going to be playing some dates around that general area for the next following 10 days. So just keep an eye on us. We're still just getting our calendar. We'll put out a tour announcement, and we'll put out the show dates and all that fun stuff. And then, Friday the 25th, we're headlining Goonie Fest in Gold City, Michigan, which is Upper Peninsula, right over the giant bridge that they have there. It should be a really, really good time. I really like Alice and her team who are putting this event on. This is the first festival we've ever headlined, so that's big for us.
Congratulations.
So we're for 1 week we're going to be kind of on the smaller piece side stage of a huge festival, and then their festival we get the headline. So we're excited.
That's amazing. So where can everybody find you at? What are the handles? What is the best place to keep up with with everything you just mentioned?
Absolutely, everything Failsafe related. You can go to www.wearethefailsafe.com. That'll give you links to every one of our social medias. If you're a prospective talent buyer, we have a press kit there, so you can see what we're all about. Links to our YouTube, links to our music, our Spotify, literally everything. Otherwise, you can find us on pretty much any social media platform under The Failsafe or We Are The Failsafe, depending on what it is. Yeah, you can't really go wrong. It's hard to stay away from us, and we constantly post up, so we'll constantly be up in your feed.
Well, you guys are just killing it this year, and the year kind of just started. We're only a couple, 3 or 4 months in, but I mean, you guys have a schedule planned for the entire year. It sounds like, and that's awesome. So I highly suggest everyone go follow the Failsafe, and especially watch this music video for Wolves. It's great. It's a great video, especially if you're a horror fan. Yeah, you'll definitely appreciate it. The song is very deep and meaningful. And I love that you brought up the aspect of insomnia, because a lot of people tend to not consider that a mental health. And honestly, I've always dealt with it, and I've never really considered it. But now that you're saying it, I'm like, oh, dude, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. It totally is, and it's true. And I hope that all the touring goes well. The shows are massive, and you guys have a great time. And thank you so much for coming out and telling your story. I know it's not an easy thing to do. but I think it's definitely going to help a lot of people. And just thank you again for your time and doing this.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Appreciate it. Cool, Jesse. Well, again, thank you so much, dude. And all the links will be down below for the video, for Spotify, for their Instagram. Just check out all the information below, and you can find them there. Keep rocking out, Jesse. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Mental Breakdown tonight, everyone. Please just remember you matter and keep listening to music because it gets you through everything. I promise. My favorite quote from Mitch Lucker. Everyone, have a great night. See you next time. Goodbye.